Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Hello? Is anybody out there in the
There we
void?
go. Okay, it's working now.
Oh, the void finally responds.
Oh, I didn't like that. So. Well, that's okay. We're here. That's me, not you. We're here. Ah. Oh, that skeleton just reappeared. He's dying again. So.
I still don't see it.
It says it's live. It says it's live
Okay,
for
okay.
me.
Maybe link the actual thing
It
itself to
says
me
it's
here.
live for me. Stop gaslighting me, bro.
I'm not gaslighting you. I'm
Stop
on the channel.
gaslighting me. Why isn't it live? Why isn't it live?
Oh no!
Okay. You know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna do it on Twitch for now, and then I'll figure it out later. I don't want to
What do the
stall it
numbers
anymore.
mean?
What do the numbers mean? We'll just do it on Twitch. Link the just link the Twitch
Okay, well
stream.
then send it to me.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. So while I do that, while I do that, while I do that, let's talk about our favorite horror games. And let's talk about how horror has just been faring as a genre in general. This is very impromptu. I think it's not going to be very directed in general because we've had a lot of stuff going on in our personal lives, and we're kind of just taking this chance to get the stream going again, and hopefully we can be more consistent in the future. Hopefully things change. I don't know what else to say. It kind of is not fun right now, but we're here to have fun. We're here to have fun and talk about this stuff. So, what would you want to talk about first? Because I have an idea of what I just want to talk about games in general right now, and I kind of maybe want to lead off with a cult classic that hasn't been talked about a lot. It's starting to gain traction actually in the community that I've noticed. And I'll link a couple videos in the chat, or I'll just point to the channels that I'm looking at that have good videos on it. Juggernaut for PS1 is a fantastic point and click adventure game that I believe should get the same treatment as Riven and Myst in their remakes. Remake it in Unreal Engine 5. Make it a walk around instead of point and click adventure, and it would be a fantastic remake for a great horror game that is really surreal, really bizarre, and the story is wild. The story is that your girlfriend gets possessed by a demon, or I think it's even the devil. and the priest calls you over and he tells you, hey, your girlfriend's possessed, and I need you here with me to exorcise this demon. I'm going to send your soul into her soul, and we're going to exorcise this demon together. I'll communicate to you spiritually, and he sends you in, and you kind of go through her unconscious mind, and you go through several different levels. One of them's like a mansion, one of them's a cyberpunk adventure, one of them's a murder prison where they're just torturing inmates.
Murder prison.
They're just torturing inmates for their endorphins and farming their endorphins. It's not really even murder because they never actually kill any of their inmates. They just keep them on the brink of death to farm endorphins from them, like our world elite. So,
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But it's really good. It's a fantastic game. It's a gem. If you have the patience to sit through it, I would definitely suggest it. There are, I'll pull up some things here. It's a very bizarre game. World of Long Plays has an amazing video on it. I'll definitely shout him out here. Fantastic, beautiful long play of it all. The nice thing about this game is that what I love about it, it's very particular about its choices of music use. Very silent game. It makes it very eerie, very quiet, very unsettling.
Did he just go through that hole?
Yeah, because he's in a spirit form right now. I'm not gonna spoil
Okay,
it. I'm just kind of
got it.
showing some of the gameplay right now. I can expand.
That's kind of
on this.
neat.
But
Is
yeah,
that you in the shower in the morning?
yeah, that is me in the shower. Just take the adult body.
Yeah.
So
I want to talk about something even more scary. Holy moly. You already have a bot in the kick chat, and it is rambling about like schizo stuff. Man, it's popping off UFOs, aliens, Santa Claus,
why am I here?
AGI, ASI agents.
Why am I here?
Yeah.
So-
What a start.
Oh man, the post
Back on topic though.
the post-mortem
yeah.
special is really kicking off.
Did a few of the construction workers die, by the way? What's with all the skeletons and the ghosts?
I talked about it earlier. We've been dead for 3 weeks, and we brought some friends back. Maybe there were some workplace accidents, for sure. But you know what? We don't worry about that. But you know what? We don't worry about that. But
that's a work safe problem. Nothing. That's a work safe problem.
Oh no.
Nothing we have to worry about.
Echoes. This stream is scuffed already. You. Anyways, there I banned him.
Perfect.
Anyways. So, back to Juggernaut. Fantastic game. I definitely suggest it. It kind of reminds me of a lot of the other other point and click adventure games. There was one particularly that I'm kind of trying to remember. It was Echo Knight. Echo Knight 1 and 2 were fantastic, but they never got translated to English. And I think there's there might be some fan translations. I'm not sure, but all I can find is just videos of the Japanese playthroughs. Very similar games, not as weird and honestly brutal as Juggernaut. I'm seriously considering picking this game up for the collection just because I love it. I absolutely adore this game. Not the cup of tea for everyone, as you can see. It is a very slow game, but if you can kind of get through this slog that Juggernaut is, man.
It looks like a surrealist nightmare.
It is. It absolutely is. The levels get super bizarre. I'll show you kind of maybe a clip of one of my favorite one, the virtual insurance. So this is the Cyberpunk one. And the music is actually super good. You're supposed to be going to all these other sites to try and find out like who's the programmer behind this Beelzebub corporation virus or something like that. Yeah, on the nose, by the way, Beelzebub Corporation. The music's super bizarre in this game too.
What can I say? They're never very subtle when they're haunting or possessing a person.
Oh, they're never subtle at all. I mean, you just gotta look around and you'll see. So, definitely, I would suggest this game wholeheartedly. Very, very weird. If you can get through the slog that it can be at times, you find a really just a gem in the rough. It's really good. Totally, wholeheartedly, 100% suggest this game. I'm gonna throw it over to you because I want to hear what you're thinking. We're just talking. We're just.
I mean, that actually reminded me of another game here. So this is a little more impromptu. I know Marsh covered it, 605K view video, but Desperia, another untranslated little more so point and click / RPG gem. absolutely unhinged story.
Was that
Uh,
PS1?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely unhinged, completely untranslated. So it's too bad. It's very hard to actually go through and play it, but
Oh yeah,
that
I
one
see.
is.
I see it. I can't. I don't want to really. I mean, we can pull up his video, but I'll have to link it.
Yeah, I
I'll try
know.
and
If
find
you
the
want a
note.
more
I'll find.
detailed breakdown, because he
Yeah.
actually goes through it.
It is a 5-hour video, which is insane. That man has put in so much work. I kind of don't want to. I don't want to.
Yeah,
I'll link it. I'll link it in the chat.
definitely in the same vein as
Um,
Juggernaut, with a bit more gameplay to it, since there's the RPG aspect rather
Yeah.
than just point and click.
Yeah. There's so many good games locked behind these archaic point and click um, adventure formats. So definitely worth a look. I'll link this one in chat just for everyone to see if they want to go watch that. It's really good. I also have to forgive. You'll have to forgive me. I'm tripping over my own words right now.
A little frazzled over there.
I am a little frazzled over here. So
It's the chill in the air, you know, the skeleton that keeps falling over behind you.
it's true. He's very scary. I don't like it. He said his name was Phil or something like that, and I don't particularly feel comfortable around people named Phil. So
Okay. Well,
so
I mean,
what do you think of
that
the state of the horror game genre right now? Let's go with that. I think we have some good opinions. We have some things that we can talk about the state of the horror game genre.
I don't know if my opinions are good, but sure.
Go for it. I want to hear it. You lead.
The state of the horror game genre. I think it is in a low-key resurgence or renaissance, but it's not in the places that you expect it to be.
Yeah, I was gonna comment in the mainstream horror games that you're seeing, like New Dawn, was it New Dawn and Silent Hill 2? Because I think they were made by the same people. You're seeing a
Yeah.
lot of this action-oriented survival horror variants, and they're still very it's still very Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4, I think, has irreparably damaged the AAA horror scene, and it's not that I'm bothered by it. I think the problem is I worry about the evolution of horror games and how the AAA industry doesn't want to really experiment or try risky things anymore. And the riskiest you did get, and I won't go into detail just because we're streaming, but the riskiest thing I saw was the Abstract Daddy from Silent Hill 2. That was I think that's a step in the right direction of if you want to create a more impactful horror scene, especially in a psychological horror-esque world like Silent Hill 2. So
I think it's okay to kind of go in depth about that, because that is something, like, it's also symptomatic of having been a game that wasn't trying to be like Resident Evil. Silent Hill 2, especially when the first one came out, was a lot more concerned with telling its own story and orienting itself around its own details rather than trend chasing what was popular. And I'd say it's really a shame to see this kind of happen to a lot of the AAA games industry, because you have a return to standard in the Resident Evil 2 remake, which was a lot more horror oriented. And as you go through the game and as you replay it, you actually have a lot of subtle horror moments where you're just face to face with monsters that are beyond your comprehension, and it slowly loses that horror the more used to the game that you get.
mm-hmm.
Uh, and that's more symptomatic of the modernized control scheme, giving you so much control, allowing you to actually, well, evade so easily, for
Yeah.
lack of a better word.
Yeah, talking to our coworkers earlier, we were talking about how tank controls can definitely make you feel like you're not in control a lot, even against just the regular enemies. So I feel like that gives a lot of credence to horror. Is I wouldn't say like outright clunky controls, but controls that are hard to get a grasp on. And our coworker mentioned Amnesia: The Dark Descent, and that's a fantastic one. And the interesting thing about Amnesia too that I didn't get to add in that discussion is that a lot of the objects you're working with have a weight value. So you don't actually move them as fast as all the other objects like in Half-Life 2 or something like that. You actually have to tussle with the weight of the object you're trying to move, and that's why it can feel a bit clunky. So you're trying to move a rock or a boulder out of the way or a barrel, that's very heavy, and you're going to be fighting tooth and nail to try and move it. And sometimes it's like, oh man, it's not working, it's not working. No, the control scheme is definitely working. You just don't understand that it is a physics and weight based control scheme. Like that, the system works. So Amnesia: The Dark Descent was far ahead of its time in those regards, and especially in regards to control. You know, Penumbra, Black Plague, Penumbra. What was the second one called? I'm
I thought
forgetting.
Black Plague was the
Was
sequel.
Oh yeah, it might have been
Yeah,
back.
yeah, because it was
Yeah,
Penumbra and then Penumbra Black Plague.
yeah, and then it was like Penumbra something. I'm really bad with that name, but the Penumbra series is not loved enough, in my opinion. It
Penumbra
gets
Overture.
yeah Overture, and that not loved enough. Period. That game, especially the second one, if you
Okay,
are a
so it's
fan of horror,
Overture, Black Plague, and then Requiem.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you're a fan of horror games and you really liked Amnesia, definitely go give the Penumbra series a try. It's a bit less polished, but it's totally worth your time. 100% worth your time. Totally suggest it. Fantastic games.
A lot more focused on character horror, funnily enough.
The second one for sure.
Especially the second one.
Yeah. The second one for sure. The first one was just kind of like you're trying to figure out what's going on and you're exploring into the Alaskan camp outpost. So you're trying to figure out what's going on there, and then the third one just kind of goes really off the rails. I still don't know what happened in the third one. It's all over the place, but
Sounds like you got to replay it.
yeah, I do. I got to replay a lot of things.
The list becomes longer.
Oh,
The true horror of being a gamer.
It never ends. I'm oppressed by my own hobby. So yeah, really, really one of those really good games, I would say.
If we're talking about other old ones that didn't get enough love, especially around their release, the Siren, or also known as the Forbidden Siren series, if you have the misfortune of being born in Europe. Uh, Siren actually was a very interesting survival horror game,
We picked that one
especially
up for
with a
cheap,
lot of.
didn't we?
Yep, a lot of interesting mechanics. It's definitely one that is a bit harder to play due to scarcity of actual copies, as well as like how well known it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it definitely didn't like sell horribly. It did get a sequel, Forbidden Siren 2, but I'm not sure if it actually released in NA.
I'm not sure about the because we got the first game, but I'm not sure if
Yeah,
the
yeah, it
second
wasn't
game.
actually released in NA. It was only
Wow,
released in Europe.
that's weird. That's a
Yep,
weird choice.
yep. It was because it sold so poorly in NA that they just didn't have faith in actually bringing it over.
Well,
And it was a horror series directly developed by Sony too. So this was what was meant to compete with Silent Hill and Resident Evil. And I keep
it definitely is a weird game. I'm gonna be honest with you. Uh, I think the neatest part about it was the ability to see through the enemy's eyes to pinpoint where they are and how you have to move throughout the map. And that was the most unique feature
the
of
sight
it.
jacking.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I'm pretty sure that's actually only available in the sequel. So the mechanic that the
Oh,
series is most known for
wasn't even in
wasn't
the
even
first.
in the
Wow.
first game.
Huh. Yeah, that's weird. That is really weird. Yeah, bizarre series. That one. I have to actually play it along with Fatal Frame because I was looking at Fatal Frame. We bought Fatal Frame 2 on PS2. So I'm gonna play it on the actual hardware here, which is actually what I should do this weekend. But yeah, great game. I'd say like I've been tempted to buy an Xbox to play the first Fatal Frame on Xbox for some reason. I don't know why that keeps coming to my mind like an intrusive thought, but 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 I do want to play Fatal Frame on the Xbox for some reason. I don't know why. It's just a calling.
Why the Xbox
I
specifically?
don't know. I've been wanting an Xbox for
You
so
just
long
wanted an
now.
excuse for the
Yeah.
Xbox, huh?
Oh, okay. Well, like a little bit off topic, but I do want to buy Crimson Skies. Crimson Skies is a really good game. But
Crimson Skies in the original Halo as well. There's a
yeah,
lot of differences between Combat Evolved on the that you can currently purchase online versus the
campaign evolved.
original. Don't even
Can't. That's
that's
actual
the
horror.
real
Yeah, that's
horror.
the horror right there.
Cortana jerking his corpse around in the show was just a metaphor for how Microsoft treats the actual franchise.
Oh God,
What a
that is
joke.
terrifying. So that's awful. Anyways, yeah, I want to play Fatal Frame a lot. Probably gonna play Fatal Frame 2. Interested in buying Fatal Frame 3.
So when are you gonna spend $700 on Rule of Rose?
Oh, I am shocked. That's the scary part about that game. Is not the game itself. The game itself. Well, I mean, the gameplay is really bad in Rule of Rose. It's honestly not a particularly good game, but because of how scarce it is, yeah, you're paying like what 700 US for that game. That's that's money I don't have. That's money
It
even if I
scored
had.
it scored a 3 out of 10
Yeah, it's
back in the day.
really not
Whoa.
good.
Whoa.
It's
It
honestly
got a
one of
B
those
plus from the
games.
AV Club though.
Well, like the subject matter isn't bad. I find that the subject matter is pretty good for the game, but the gameplay itself really it's clunky. It's the bad clunk, you know? It's the bad clunky. It's the clunky
Yeah, the
that
frustrating clunk.
yeah, and you know, you have the bad clunky in a bad horror game, then it's just a bad game. Which is too bad because I like the concept and I like the storytelling of Rule Rose. I think it's really neat. There needed to be more like old English esque, fairy tale esque story horror games, in my opinion, because what's it called? Grimm's Fairy Tales. That's ripe. Like stuff like Grimm's Fairy Tales is ripe for it. But we just
Oh,
do nothing
absolutely.
with anything like that.
Such a shame that fairy tales have become like a mockery because they're actually not like if you read the original Grimm's fairy tales,
Oh
they're
yeah.
horrifying.
Oh yeah.
Objectively speaking,
Well, the one
especially
everyone
if you're
points
viewing them
to.
from like a child's perspective.
Yeah, the one everyone points to is Cinderella and how to fit these slippers, her sisters cut their toes off. Then they were found to be guilty in trying to cheat, and then they got put to death or something like that. Like that's wild for a fairy tale.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Don't lie to royalty, I guess. I don't know what the moral of that story is. Don't cut your toes.
yeah, something like that. But yeah, the how should I say? There's so much groundwork you can do with a horror game nowadays, especially with the indie titles and what the indie titles are doing with low poly stuff like that. A lot of I know Nexpo just released a video on his PS Haunted PS1 collection, which is it's a pretty good video. I haven't really gotten all the way through it, but you know, it's a haunted PS1. There's some neat concepts in there, but there's nothing too crazy. I've been playing Cultic recently, and Cultic's really good. I really enjoy Cultic. That game is a premium way of how to use 2D assets in a Doom-esque boomer shooter, as some people say, aspect or scenario, I guess. Those probably aren't the right words, but I'm not speaking clearly. I'm kind of not coherent at all.
Just a little bit of schizophrenia, Stan.
Yeah, tell me about it. I think it's the skeleton. I think it's the ghost
Yeah.
influence behind the pumpkin.
Yep.
Yeah, he's kind of creeping me out. He's giving me some of the heebie-jeebies. So, but yeah, Cultic's been fantastic. I would definitely suggest playing it. Bang for your buck is perfect too. You can get about 7 hours if you play slowly. You can get about 7 hours out of the campaign for each of the chapters for $12 each. So $24 for 14 hours right now is a steal of a deal. Definitely go play it.
That actually reminds me of another a mod that blew up. How long ago was it since myhouse.wad?
Oh man, I think about 2 years ago. myhouse.wad. Fascinating. Very well done. I'm always impressed by the people's creativity and tenacity to compress
2023.
files. Like, how big was that wad? That wad was probably one of the biggest wads out there, but it still was compressed really well.
Well, it was to show off the new the new like GZ Doom rescript. So a lot of things that weren't possible before, such as like doors swinging on hinges, levels changing actively as you play through them, was specifically what that like unique software capabilities that wasn't available in Doom engines before this iteration. So it was a technical feat that allowed myhouse.wad to function, and that's part of what allowed it to be so small, right? Because you're only confining it to one map, you aren't loading multiple maps.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it's really cool to see people still developing for Doom. That's never gonna stop. I think we're gonna be in 2063. People are gonna be developing Doom on the hologram settings that we have, and they're gonna be playing Doom VR, but it's gonna be like Ready Player One. So they're gonna be fighting like virtual demons, and maybe the virtual demons will find a way to break into our reality somehow. So
yeah, where's that iteration in a Doom movie?
Oh, don't
anything but the actual plot.
Yeah, anything.
Anything but the actual plot of humanity pushing too far.
Well, yeah, because humans can't do anything wrong, right? We gotta always be the heroes.
Infallible species.
Yep, 100%. Man, it's the aliens' fault. Definitely not ours.
You want to go start a cult?
Already on it.
Yeah.
Already on it.
Yeah, well, we'll just wait for one guy to clear it all out with a shotgun, a machete, and a couple sticks of dynamite, right? Sorry, a hatchet.
Well, speaking of another horrifying thing, we've gotten addicted to Magic the Gathering. That's terrifying. My wallet's terrifying.
The bills.
It begs for mercy every time I open it to swipe for another demonic tutor.
You don't need to buy multiple. You can just swap them out of your decks.
Yeah, we could swap them out, but I mean,
you could.
That's a lot of effort. So I think I'm gonna swipe.
Oh, we got a Twitch bot.
Yeah, it's okay.
Smite him.
I'll deal with it. Oh wait, no, I have a mod in there. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Rusty. Anyways,
is he here? I don't know if he's here.
Yeah, he is. Anyways, back on topic. We're breaking character a little there.
I think character's far gone out of the bag at this point.
Yeah.
The true horror was trying to be consistent in the first place, let's be honest.
Yep. I wanted to try and try and talk to chat after, but that's very very impossible to do. So we'll just kind of wing it. I'm winging it. We're all winging it. I think most people on Twitch wing it all the time. So I don't know. I'm at that point, but yeah, no, I've been really enjoying Magic the Gathering. I've been playing the Squirrel Cult deck, and obviously Cloud Voltron, which you've experienced, and yeah, uh, that's
The fact that I didn't even know that replacing counters multiplies them.
yeah, the rulings are quite ridiculous. So
I've accidentally made like the 1/1 group hug Balatro deck with Miss Bumbleflower. It's kind of insane. I didn't realize that I technically should have actually been like a 48/48 on my Fathom Mage.
yeah, well, I'm glad you didn't realize that, and you gotta keep track of your plays more, nerd. So
I didn't think that replacing counters counted as placing them again.
it's weird, but oh well. I mean, there's probably a lot of stuff about my deck I don't know, but my decks are pretty straightforward. So I mean, I was
The
surprised.
rulings
I
list
can't
is
believe
honestly intimidating.
I can't believe I didn't realize that Primal Vigor affected everyone. I should have just read. I should have just read the card. So I mean, that's a very risky. I have to be more careful with that card now, as well. So
Definitely be more careful with it, but it's honestly not the worst unless you're facing a hard token
oh
deck
yeah, like the
or
Ishtola
anything like
deck.
that.
Yeah.
The Ishtola deck isn't even a hard token deck. It's like meant to
Yeah,
be a
but you
spell
play
slinger, and
tokens.
yes, because it's poorly designed. Ask anyone at that card shop, and they will tell you that it is one of the worst precons you can buy unless
I
you're expecting
know.
to upgrade it. It's
The,
like one of the best, most upgradable decks, but out of the box, I should not have won that match.
but you did anyways. You won both the matches.
I won by killing everyone else.
Oh.
That's the worst part. The worst part about the Ishtolo is that it's like really awkward because it's like, well, I just have to ping everyone because them's the rules of the card.
Yep. Oh man. So, well, let's get back on topic. We kind of got we kind of got lost in the sauce there, but that's okay. It's our show. It's our show. We're talking about treasures, trinkets, and treachery here, and well, I betray the audience sometimes by going off topic and weird diatribes. So,
So we were talking about indie darlings before you brought up Magic.
indie darlings, and also just the general state of the horror genre in general. And I'm
I think indie horror is really the way to go if you want a lot of quality horror experiences.
yeah,
As much as I want to say like Silent Hill is great, um, Silent Hill, the remake, and F have a glaring problem: over reliance on a lot of combat.
yeah.
And I think anyone who says otherwise is just kind of a little cuckoo because uh, it's very jarring going from how little enemies there actually are in the original Silent Hill 2
Yep.
to the remake, where you are constantly locked into forced
Every
combat in a
corner.
lot of segments.
Every corner it
And
feels like.
and enemies like they hard run you down and chase you down. I'm not opposed to that, but I should also have the ability to just run away and ignore enemies. Because something that is very frustrating is running out of resources and having the game adjust itself to give me more resources in the dark world rather than actually playing the survival part of survival horror and properly managing my resources and being rewarded for exploring the town, learning more of the story as I explore the town, and then inherently being rewarded so that when I'm in the dark world segments, I have enough munitions to kind of clear out the tighter corridors where I can't run as much, and there's a lot more threats that I need to take care of.
Yeah. Yep. That's something that I think a lot of survival horrors are having problems with is bullet scarcity and making you choose whether you want to use your bullets and your weapons, or if you want to use your run away, or if you want to use melee weapons, stuff like that. I think there's definitely a misalignment in combat philosophy in general in a lot of AAA horror games right now.
No, absolutely. It's unfortunately it's unfortunately it goes back to what we were saying earlier with AAA. Especially Resident Evil 3 remake. That was very
That's
very
so
apparent.
disappointing. It was so
I
disappointing.
the amount of content that they cut in it too.
Yeah, didn't they cut like two whole areas out from it?
Oh, a ton of areas.
Oh my
I'd have to actually go back and take a look, but you're missing stuff like the clock tower, the nightmare
Yeah, I
sequence.
thought it was the sewers
Um,
as well.
no, the sewers is there. It's just a much shorter,
Well, they cut the
closed
spiders. I
burst.
know they cut the spiders from it.
Yeah, the Central Park. They cut the Central Park as well.
Oh my.
Cause yeah,
Oh.
there was like a big overgrown worm and stuff like that. I don't
Yeah.
mind cutting the more unbelievable monsters. I think if you're gonna like, if you're gonna cut them,
No.
fair's fair,
No.
but you shouldn't cut them when you have stuff like Plant 42 or the Plant Zombies, like in the Resi 2 remake, and a bunch of other stuff like that. Although I think it wasn't Plant 42. I think is from the original.
No, I don't agree with cutting any of those monsters because what the X virus, 'cause it was the T virus, right? Why am I
Yeah, the
thinking
T
the X
virus. It's
virus?
a
Is that Metroid? X
uh,
parasites. Um,
Hex parasites. Yeah.
no, the T virus affects everything. So it's not unreasonable to have such crazy biohazard uh, creatures. So why would you cut something when like it's not? I think there's a misconception about Resident Evil. The first game is definitely a zombie game for sure. Zombies are primary enemies in Resident Evil, but it is not a zombie game. Resident Evil is a biohazard game. There is a reason why it's called Biohazard in Japan because it is a game about what happens when you mutate biological entities into monstrous horrors beyond human comprehension. That is the core crux of what Resident Evil and Biohazard is as a franchise. And that's why when it went towards a more action-oriented franchise, I wasn't particularly bothered. I just wish the quality was better. Like I didn't think Resident Evil 5 was a particularly bad game. The reason why Resident Evil 5 was a bad game is because it just was programmed by idiots. It was a terrible.
I wish.
It was
I
a
wish we
terrible.
had the.
Yeah, I wish we had the footage.
I wish
of
we
that.
had the clips of our playthrough. That was wild.
It's the same thing with Resident
I
Evil
think
6.
the I love how we just like reached a point where we were so bored with the main gameplay loop. We just actually went to the theme park. Or not the theme park. I was literally just running around and we were spamming the voice lines, and I kept saying no to
That was
you
Resi
calling
6,
me
right? That was
in
Resi
Resi 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to a lesser extent, that definitely happened in Resi 5 because I remember we got to the Aztec temple part, or
Yeah.
not the
Oh, yeah.
Aztec,
That's where
but
we
yeah, the
quit.
African temple part where you learn the origins of the T virus, and it was such a frustrating segment because the grenades kept hitting you but not hitting the hunters off the ledge,
Yeah.
and it would just that
It was
was
terrible. It was like
that was bad.
it had such potential because how I try to view a game is I view the game through a potential lens, especially when it's not a good game. That's why I said I like Rule of Rose, but Rule of Rose isn't a good game. But I like the potential of it. I think the story is great. I think the setting's great. The voice acting's actually pretty good. It's the same thing with Resident Evil 5 and 6. I think that because of how Resident Evil setting was turning and how it's logical in a world where biological weapons like, El Gigante and the T virus and everything else exists, like the Las Plagas exist, that they're going to be weaponized by militaries and paramilitary groups, and you're going to have a task force to deal with them. I think it's a completely reasonable extension of the story, but it's just executed so fucking poorly. Like it's executed by people who think they want people wanted action flick movies. It's like no, you can have the covert ops be like Code Veronica and stuff. You can have the covert ops be like the original games, and then you can have like those action-oriented games that show the bigger picture of what's going on. So you have Redfield And some of the other
Chris
characters.
Boulder punching Redfield, please and thank you.
Absolutely. You have him hunting down Wesker, fighting the bigger picture, and then you can have like Jill Valentine or something like that, who's on more of a spec ops mission, dealing with the actual like seedy underside of the T virus dealing dealings and everything, right?
No, sorry. Jill's gotta be there to have her platonic one-way relationship with Chris.
I know. Anyways, you you get what I'm saying, right? There's different ways you can approach this. It's just I feel like the audience is fickle, and I feel like the developers are idiots. So
I don't think the audience is fickle because I remember a lot of criticism around the time was exactly what we're talking about of way
really,
too action oriented. Yeah, a lot of
well,
people did not like Resi 6 for how action oriented it was,
no.
and
My
same with
criticism isn't
5.
action oriented. My criticism isn't action oriented. I think that it's appropriate to have action oriented Resident Evil games, but you have to pitch them as like it's a big overarching. It's the bigger picture one. It's the actual combat stuff. That's what it was supposed to be. Resident Evil 5 and 6. That's what they were supposed to be, and then like I'm saying, have the smaller ones be the like the tank controls, survival horror ones where you're in a spec ops mission. It's fine.
Yeah.
It was just designed poorly. Like I think if Resident Evil 5 and 6 were designed better, they had a little bit less content in my opinion because Resident Evil 6 is a slog, dude. Resident Evil 6 is so boring once you get past like 2 campaigns.
Well, they definitely rushed the development of 6 because they wanted to do how many campaigns was it in total? Because I know they did exactly what you're talking about, or at least they attempted to do exactly what you're talking about. That was the design philosophy of 6 specifically. Like Chris Boulder punching Redfield is your more action oriented, and then your Leon campaign was the more horror oriented.
Yeah, well, you just have to make that a different game in general. Like you just have to make that a different game in general. So anyways, I think there's a lot of good there, but definitely, if you're gonna make an action game, you're just gonna have to make it good, especially for horror. Like I saw that they remade Layers of Fear for some reason. I don't know why they remade Layers of Fear. Like, is there a reason behind that, or is that just a thing they did?
I completely forgot that there was a remake for Layers of Fear.
Exactly, right? It just happened, and it was like, oh, okay, that's just a remake for Layers of Fear. So I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, and they removed the best part, which was the child running into the dresser.
Yep, they did. They absolutely did. So that I mean, I think the Germa clip embarrassed them enough to
It
encourage
was
them
so
to.
good.
I
It was so good though. It
flabbergasted,
was it
honestly,
was comedy
flabbergasted.
gold. It was comedy gold.
Yep. So, one game I did finish and that some other streamers are playing right now, which is really good, is Eternal Darkness, Sandy's Requiem. I do have the actual like GameCube. I played it on a Trinitron. Magical experience. That what a amazing game. I think it's. I'm amazed that this game is slept on. This game is not a survival horror game. A lot of people think it's survival. It has some aspects of survival horror. It is an action horror game. That's what people don't understand about Eternal Darkness. It's an action horror game. You get one weapon that you can use to cut off the zombies' heads and everything, and arms and stuff like that. And you can enchant it to make it do a lot of damage. So you don't even really need to use any of the guns unless you want to like one or two shot any of like the big horrors. But you can run like the game is built around you enchanting your sword and running around and decapitating and removing limbs from zombies efficiently. The combat in Eternal Darkness is so underrated. It is so good. The game is so smooth. Buttery smooth game. I can't explain it to people. You have to go play it. If you're not going to play it, shame on you. 100% shame on you. You can emulate it. I don't care. I'm not saying the bad word. You can either emulate it, you can Go out and buy a copy. It's going up in value because I think some of the streamers are playing it, and a lot of the Zoomers are realizing how good of the game is. Go play it. Don't. I'm not gonna spoil anything personally about it. Just go play the game. It's so good. Magical experience, especially for a horror game.
Argon.
Chagurga.
Iconic, honestly.
Yeah, no, the spellcasting system's great in it. So, yeah, I do want to talk about Eternal Darkness a bit more, but honestly, for the sake of the audience, I would just suggest just go play it. Go watch, go play it. It's super good.
Yeah,
Wonderful
no spoilers.
Yep. So,
Pius Augustus would be disappointed in spoilers.
100%. But yeah, kind of trying to think about like what other games.
I definitely tie it back to indie now, because
Yeah.
indie's definitely where you're seeing a lot of horror genre tropes be expounded upon in meaningful ways, and actually given like solid, cohesive experiences.
Yeah.
That's one of the criticisms I will give a lot of AAA games, is that they definitely tend to leave you feeling like a wanting more in a lot of cases, especially I hate to keep harping on it, but the Resident Evil remakes definitely
just keeps going back to him.
well, when you make something that was so expansive and expanded upon in a meaningful way, like the HD or GameCube remake for Silent Hill 1, or Resident Evil 1, sorry, you create a standard that needs to be enforced, in my opinion, because when you don't enforce it for the subsequent remakes, is very disappointing. Now, granted,
Yep.
a lot of time, a lot of difference in development teams, so it's understandable why there's that many differences. To see them further reduce that in Resident Evil 3, very disappointing, and definitely left me feeling like I wanted more. But speaking of, what would I recommend? It's hard to go wrong with a lot of indie horror titles right now. One that I'd love to highlight, Psychopomp Gold. It's the
Yep.
perfect short experience. It is a very unique experience. Currently on sales for $9.43 Canadian, so I think that's like what, $7 American.
Yep.
And it is a very unique game.
It's much more of a dungeon crawler, isn't it?
It plays like a dungeon crawler. It is more of a story game than you would expect. A lot less dungeon crawling, a lot more taking in the environment, a lot of dialogue that you do need to read, because it is something that it demands your attention to the dialogue, because if you aren't paying attention to the dialogue, you just aren't going to enjoy the game, is the one thing I will say.
Yeah,
And that's
I
definitely
noticed
where
a
I'll
lot of
say
streamers.
it's not something that's for everyone.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of streamers that were just kind of skipping over a dialogue for some reason, and it's just like, well, you're kind of missing the point of the game, buddy.
Yeah, a lot of impatience, but if you like schizo posting, that's the only real way to kind of describe this game. It is something that inherently begs you to question the sanity of not only the main character, but the sanity of the world itself. Because there is very clearly a tangible story, especially if you go for the true ending in the game. And it directly teases the sequel, which is currently in development, and looks to be an improvement in almost every way possible. So you're
that's
about to
something
get
be
more
excited
content
for.
if you do like something. If you do wind up liking Psychopomp Gold.
Yeah, something to be excited for. I was also going to point out Signalis. That's a more well-known one for sure, but it's definitely, if you don't know about it, definitely give it a shot. It plays a lot more like a top-down Resident Evil game, and that one's a bit more heavy on the survival horror aspects. You do run out of ammunition. You're encouraged to not fight a lot in that game. The story is very good, encourages multiple playthroughs. So your first playthrough is going to be great, and your second playthrough is going to be a lot faster, but you're going to have to figure out what you want to do. with it. A very deep and I would say esoteric story, indeed. So, Signalis is another fantastic indie game that I can wholeheartedly suggest. It's nice and cheap, as like all of them are. Let's just be honest. I think the most expensive one we might talk about might be like $30. Who knows?
Oh
Right?
yeah, that's you already covered it with Cultic. Basically, if you want
Yeah,
both Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, it's gonna run you around $25.
yeah. So it's just beautiful games out right now. What other indie games are there? Because there's a couple other ones that I'm aware of.
I'll do a short list of ones that
Yeah,
have
let me check.
captured the public zeitgeist.
Yeah, go for it.
Mouthwashing was very solid.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
Mouthwashing is a
have a
beautiful
lot
game.
to say.
Okay, so mouthwashing ties back into my argument about um, developers being afraid to tackle topics that make video games art. And I'm having trouble really describing why video games are art to people because I feel like in the AAA industry and, I just think people in general, they're afraid to tackle topics that make people or themselves uncomfortable. But the problem is that those topics are what make compelling stories. They're what make you sympathize and make you demonize with characters. Um, I kind of flubbed up there, but you have to pardon. I'm kind of racking through my brain here. But you have to be willing to engage with subject matter that you're uncomfortable with to elicit emotions and responses that you want from the audience. And mouthwashing did that absolutely perfectly. It engages with topics we can't we can say it, but I mean I don't want to like offend anyone.
Say the YouTube friendly version, but
it deals with topics like SA, and it deals with topics of self-worth, but also topics of how awful and terrible can a person really be, and how selfish someone
also
can be.
the corporatism
Yep.
aspect to it is truly
Yep.
fascinating because a very important part that not a lot of people pick up on is what's her name, the main
I
girl,
forget.
the medical girl. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a while since I played it, but she directly mentions in one of her lines, she asks the captain about why there's a lock on the med bay, but there aren't locks on the bedrooms. And that's a huge piece of foreshadowing about the actual story.
Yep.
And that also just highlights like what a corporate hellhole you have to be on like a ship, and then for quote unquote safety standards, you can't lock your own personal room.
Yep. And it's weird. It definitely feels like it's a bit more close to reality than it is fiction in a lot of weird ways because of the stuff I hear about.
Art
You know.
imitates life.
Yep. So I would wager that if you want video games to be art, you have to go to places that you don't want to go. And I think people either need to buck up or shut up and stop complaining that people don't consider video games art. But I think that sentiment is definitely changing. I think in general, video games, I mean, like, it depends on what type of art you want. I'm a bit more outspoken about the messed up art because I've grown up with horror and I've grown up with uncomfortable topics.
I think it's important to explore these topics in these ways
Mm-hmm.
because it opens channels of conversation about them that
Yeah.
most people would shy away from.
Well, you want to demonize
Because
it, right? You want to demonize and you want to make it bad. And through talking about these things and making not content glorifying it, but content that demonizes it, you can see how bad these things really are. And I think that's a lot of people don't understand. And that's what a lot of the, credit card companies and payment processors don't understand is they just don't want the content at all, and it stifles creativity. If you go and read the Bible, you go and read any other holy book, you go read any other ancient book, man, you will be horrified about the content you find in these books. This is stuff that
Like Second Kings, chapter 2,
Okay,
verse
I don't know.
21 and
I don't.
23.
I don't know if you're gonna be horrified about 2 bears mauling 32 children, but
After the children called a man Baldy.
so, yeah, that's why I love mouth washing. There's a reason why people think mouth washing is particularly a masterpiece. So definitely be a lot more open and be a lot more willing to engage in feelings of discomfort and feelings of um, malice, but don't let it fuel you and who you are. There's a very big difference. You can feel these feelings, but you have to know not to act on them out in the physical world, obviously. So, because some people will get so riled up and mad that, yeah, they just do dumb stuff. And that's how we get bad things happen. So,
Yeah, for sure. Well, for other games, Dredge.
Dredge is
Any thoughts
fantastic.
about Dredge?
Dredge is fantastic. Dredge is a beautiful game, and this is what I'm talking about. Like with art, art can be anything, obviously, but Dredge is fantastic. I would consider that a. I don't know if like.
It's more horror light.
Yeah.
It covers like horror adjacent subjects. It's definitely more of like a cosmic horror, so it's a slow burn in the background of the story. But it itself is not going to be like, oh, I'm thrilled, or oh, I'm scared. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have a couple tense moments, but the actual horror is in the story itself as it unravels before you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's well, I mean, just the random occurrences you can have with the leviathans and stuff like that just come out of nowhere. Just the simple mundane, like how relaxing the game can be at times. Like it really masters that relaxing mundane, hour to hour, you're just
Okay.
fishing to make a living,
Can we
vibe.
put it? Can we put it in the cozy horror category?
Yeah, it is.
Create that.
No, it's a cozy horror game, but it will scare the
I
shit
don't
out
know
of
if
you.
that's I don't know if that's a genre though.
Probably. Well, I mean, you can always make it a genre.
Yeah, I'm coining it here. I'm first. Cozy horror. Let's make it real. I categorize stuff like Doki Doki Literature Club and whatnot in there. Definitely something that takes a lot more of an innocent subject
Yes, you
and
wanted to
turns it
talk about that.
into. I didn't really. There's not much for me to say about Doki Doki Literature Club, honestly. But definitely something I'm noticing is a lot of people are more willing to kind of take subjects that you wouldn't normally consider to be avenues for horror
Hmm.
and experiment with it and twist it. So
Well, that's one thing I'll give Silent Hill F about is that I think Silent Hill F is very good at describing a very bad quality of Japan, and that is the very patriarchal, um, like family values that a lot of families. It's not like that anymore. A lot not like that in a lot of places anymore, but it was a big issue during where the game's setting is, and I'm glad.
60s
Yeah,
Japan.
the '60s Japan. It was really bad, and I think that is a fantastic narrative note that Silent Hill F can take that can roll off of, especially for the main character. I am tempted to play it, but I don't want to really pay. I mean, that's $93 is a
That's pretty steep.
$93 is a demonic tutor, dude.
Literally. And that's not like a heavy played $45 one. That's like a
Yeah,
nice piece of art one.
that's a nice demonic tutor. So, but
Well,
I'm glad that they're experimenting a bit more. Silent Hill's always been, reason why, like going just a bit back to the mouth washing discussion. Reason why everyone's always been talking about Silent Hill and how Silent Hill's a piece of art is because it deals with subjects like that. I think more people want subjects like that, and they want it to be explored a bit more.
absolutely. I welcome it. I welcome the discomfort that those subjects bring
Mm-hmm.
because if you feel that discomfort, that's what makes it horrifying. That's what makes it good.
Yep.
You know. You aren't meant to be like, oh man,
If you're
that
sympathizing with it.
her dad's so sympathetic. Watch him beat his wife. Yeah. Might wanna go get checked out, but
If you're sympathizing with the dad in Silent Hill F, I think you need to go see a therapist or something. There's something a bit a bit wacky there. So, but oh boy. How would you consider Castlevania? Because Castlevania is not really horror, but like it's based off of
so
horror franchises and horror motifs.
horror adjacent,
Yeah.
for sure. I think it's really a shame because if Konami actually cared about Castlevania, I think you could have a fantastic game where you experience one of like Dracula's invasions
Yeah,
from
as a
like the
priest or something.
sidelines.
As a priest or
And
something.
you're like a secondary vampire hunter, so you aren't as
Mm.
experienced as a Belmont, but
Yep.
you have to go and take out like Orlok or Carmilla.
Yep.
That would be really cool.
Yep.
Um, and it's definitely more horror oriented. I think you could take a really fantastic look at the franchise from that angle.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a shame that we just don't get anything Castlevania related, except for terrible Netflix series. And I will say that unabashedly, the Netflix series pisses all over what
The
Castlevania
the
is,
first
and
season was
what
good.
it is to be good.
The first
Oh,
season was
absolutely.
good.
The first season was good. Second season was terrible. Third season was even worse. Why is the God of Death swearing up a storm?
True. I
like
don't like
like
I don't
I
like
I
the
hate how in
profanities.
I hate how inelegant. What makes the OG Castlevania so good is that it lives up to that Victorian Gothic era of art where it's a proper English and subjects that are like very oriented around the game, but the dialogue is so disconnected just because it wants to play up that gothic aspect.
Yeah, I'm trying to formulate a sentence here. It does make me upset that how ineloquent a lot of death is, because I would always imagine death as someone who is a I personally imagine death as someone as benevolent because it's just something that occurs. But in the Castlevania universe, death is evil, and I always like imagine death being far more respectful and honorable than what he was in the anime or the Netflix series, because I enjoyed in the interactions that Death had with Alucard in Castlevania Symphony of the Night, where he offers to not fight him and to rejoin Dracula. And even then, after, he's like, okay, well, you know, I'm going to steal your items, but, we'll meet again and we'll have to settle this later. And then he just like bugs off. you know, I really
It
enjoyed that there is, even though like he stole your items, there is this weird sense of honor between them.
It's definitely a lot of little like storytelling cues that a lot of games miss out on nowadays, which is a shame. I know you actually mentioned earlier today how Silent Hill was really good at that, like with Eddie's breath
Oh yeah,
being constantly cold, and uh, hold on, what was her name? I think it was it Angela.
I think it was Angela. Yeah.
Yeah, it is Angela. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so Angela is constantly sweating, kind of reflecting what their personal environments are,
Mm-hmm.
playing up more of that aspect rather
Yep.
than
It's the small
the
details that count. It's the small details that count that a lot of people don't ever that make up a game so well.
that make it believable.
Yeah, 100%. It's when you play a bad game, you pick out the small things, and I always say it's the little things. It's the little things. A little lore drop. Being someone who played hockey, uh, you know, it's the little things that matter. It's the little things that you do that matter for your game. and that translates to video game development. If you're not going for like if you're doing a simple stupid little game, it doesn't matter, obviously. But if you're doing a game where you want to have a lot of world building, it's stuff like that that really matters. And I feel like devs don't understand that anymore. And I really don't want to harp on AAA again, but it really does feel like that. I was, it's just the little things that go missing out of these games, especially in horror games, that make it feel like unbelievable. Like you just kind of like, oh, okay, like the world doesn't feel as lived and breathed in, right?
It's definitely a problem that's becoming more prevalent as deadlines get stricter on
Yeah.
a lot of these games. You know, they don't have as much time to focus on stuff like that. Monster Hunter Wilds, absolute victim of that, unfortunately.
Would
Gotta
you
gotta
say
meet those
that's a
quotas. Gotta
scare?
meet those quarterly goals. Oh my gosh, yeah. The spec requirements for the game. It's
Oh.
honestly a shame.
You're in for a fright. Oh. So, yeah.
Uh, but speaking of a game that does a lot of the little things correct, Voices of the Void.
Ooh, yeah. You've had more experiences playing that game, so I'm gonna let you talk about it because I'm interested in hearing about it.
So Simulator was a game that was just kind of mid. It really was only
Mm-hmm.
trying to just be its ambient simulator game.
It was cool
And
for what
then
it was, from what
it
I
was cool for
remember.
what it was, absolutely. But you know, not much of a point to playing it other than just kind of doing the whole simulator shtick. Um, Voices of the Void takes a look at that game and says, "What if I actually start to incorporate some of the horror elements that you innately get because you're in such an isolated environment?" And so it actually starts to build its own story and starts to have fun with it.
Mm, yeah, I think I remember. Like, I mean, we've been watching Vinesauce Joel play that game a lot because I don't have the wherewithal. I think I get too paranoid, honestly, when I play those games. But maybe I should play it on my own for sure once here.
Uh, I'll be honest. The biggest problem you'll have with the game is that it is a very slow burn.
Nothing
Like
happens for a while, right?
days are very long. It's not that nothing happens, it's that you have to initially seek out a lot of things for stuff to start happening. It's a bit of a snowball, right? If you just kind of stick in your uh home base and you don't go out much, you're gonna eventually reach the point by like around day 7 where you get
Mm,
some forced events, um, and maybe a couple signals that start to trigger some more paranormal activity. But if you actively go out, you definitely have to go out, especially to do like some of the logs and stuff like that. That's where the game design's very smart. It forces you to go out into the environment. You'll start to attract more attention depending on which parts of the woods you go to.
mm,
Um, I know people who are familiar with the game will know that the main kind of entities that fuck with you are called rerolls, and they're aliens. So it's kind of sci-fi paranormal, and a lot more of a love letter to kind of cryptidology, especially on the unidentified flying objects front and alien front.
yeah.
Uh, Very fascinating experience because whereas a game like Psychopomp is like schizophrenic take on I'm paranoid because they're watching me because I think they're watching me, and it's more in the delusions aspect. Uh, Signal Simulator evokes that feeling because you are isolated and alone in the woods, and reality is exactly what you see in front of you. So they're watching you, and you know that because they're watching you. Why are their mannequins moving?
Yep. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's a
Yep.
lot of little things like that where it's like, huh, I didn't leave this here. Why is this door unlocked and open? And it really builds a very underlying horror. I definitely say it still falls under a sort of horror light. There isn't going to be a very big spooky monster unless you enable specific game modes or you know what to look for. but it's a lot more of the you're here to experience the story and experience the underlying horror that is being so isolated that the paranormal is fucking with you, and even if you tried to talk about it, nobody would believe you.
Yeah, it's that sounds really good. I do kind of want to play it, but yeah, if it's a slow burn, I have a rough time playing it. But I've been enjoying kind of the different, like looking at the different events that happen in it. Definitely worth a shot if you're an enjoyer of ambience and other more calm, secluded ones. Man, like have you noticed like that one guy who's making those like weird horror games that are based off of like real life events? I
Are you
forget what
talking
one.
about you're
Yeah,
talking
he made
about
the
the
one
one
about
guy?
yeah, he
Yeah, the elevator where like the girl who disappeared in the elevator, right?
yeah, the one disappeared in the elevator. It was the girl who got like you work at a coffee shop. Like a lot of streamers played it and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was he's still making those, and it's kind of like, hmm. I wonder how oversaturated the market can get for stuff like that, especially in low poly. Is a curious question I have.
Well, that's definitely kind of the one downside of horror for indie games. It is very oversaturated right now, and that is the one thing that I will always have to admit is that horror is a very popular genre. So the problem that you run into quickly is a lot of people are so easy to kind of dismiss the genre
Mm-hmm.
because they're used to your Five
Yeah.
Nights at Freddy's. They're used to your
Oh well,
a lot of your trend chaser kind of games, right?
Five Nights at Freddy's
Uh,
was, man, that game
the original game
exploded.
holds up, in my opinion. The original game holds up,
Yeah.
especially if you've never played it before. Um,
Okay, what about
the VR, uh, I think they jumped the shark. I think they jumped the shark. As much as I want to say, oh, they're good games for their own reasons, but they don't capture the same horror. I'll say the
Yeah.
toy series is definitely a lot more intimidating, and they're a lot more in line with what you would expect of like modern Chuck E. Cheese. So I do appreciate two a bit more than uh, uh, 3 and 4, but outside of that, objectively speaking, I think the FNAF as a franchise jumped the shark, especially with how many came out in such a quick succession.
I mean, the FNAF World game was wild when I first saw it, and it's kind of okay. Hear me out.
Suffers
Hear
from the
me out.
Kingdom Hearts syndrome.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say it. It was super weird. I was like, yeah, hear me out. Five Nights at Freddy's reminds me of the way that Kingdom Hearts story was structured, and that's super weird. It's super weird because you got to play all these games that you don't really want to play. I think you even had to like play that one weird Beaver and Sons Co. Remake or whatever to get more of the story from for Five Nights at
S-
Freddy's.
I don't think so. I think that one was just a
It's just a
fan project.
standalone.
It was such a good fan project that it actually fooled a couple people.
Okay, well, it fooled me. So, but
Yeah, no,
yeah, the fact
it's
that you have
definitely
to
not.
play all these weird games and everything to get the full story, and the full story is just out of control now, in my opinion. Just absolutely out of
Well,
control.
the who were the devs that made Help Wanted? Or
Oh,
not Help Wanted, but a Security Breach.
man, Security Breach. What a nightmare that was. Like, I remember watching the glitches and the performance issues that that game was having. My God. Fascinating concept, though. I have to admit that I really did like the concept
Steel
of
Wool
being
Studio.
I love the concept of being stuck in a 80s arcade back in the day. Man, could you imagine being stuck in Scandia overnight?
Oh my god, yeah. If
Oh,
those animatronics were stalking you around, that would have been horrifying. I
yeah.
think the worst part about Security Breach is like not even just like the setting. It's really just how not scary it is. Like
Yeah.
there is no horror to the game
Well, it felt
objectively speaking.
monotonous. It felt monotonous, like walking around back and forth, and then you're avoiding these dumb security robots that just kind of grab you, and then nothing happens. They
Oh,
just
they
grab
grab
you.
you, and then the animatronics are supposed to teleport over and start running at you, but you can just jump inside of Freddy, and then they're like, "Oh,
You think that they would
very."
start attacking Freddy? Like you think that they would know that Freddy is helping you, but you know,
Or yeah, or that Gregory climbed inside his chest cavity like a fucking
yeah,
parasite.
yeah, it's weird, but yeah,
Yeah,
that game was
it
horrifying for the
honestly
wrong
just
reasons.
it's such a shame because I think the actual concept of like being stuck in a mega complex with a bunch of these animatronics, especially if they were like properly reimagined to be actually kind of scary, um, and actually actively hunting you, could have worked really well.
Mm-hmm.
But tragically, they just didn't understand what to do with the game. In my
Yep.
opinion, they only understood sell mascot horror product, and that
That seems to
you
be
want to
the
talk about
theme.
oversaturation. That's a horrifying genre.
Oh. Well, what I will say before we talk about the like, well, I'm just gonna nail the horse in the room, the elephant in the room. My bad, wrong animal. Um, Garden of Banban. I enjoy how the creator is just
Going unhinged.
going unhinged. I really enjoy how he's just like, well, you guys are gonna make fun of my series, so I'm just gonna make it as ridiculous as possible. And the latest one, you're just in a prison complex. You're just in a complex hitting rocks, and they're just killing people.
With
Yeah,
Jack Septic Eye as
yeah,
the
yeah.
the prison guard.
It's insane, and I love the padding in it. I love how people were refunding it, and he's just like, I'm gonna pad the shit out of the game.
Yep,
It's so funny.
it is such it's
It's
an
spite.
epitome to everything wrong
It
with
is
that genre.
it is a video game made out of spite, and I love it. It is so
Eh,
weird.
the worst part is that if you actually have the chance to play the VR Help Wanted for FNAF, the first one,
First one was good, right?
the first two game modes actually really hold up really well. Is it worth its money? No, definitely not. I'd say if you could get the game for like $5, that's a worthy experience because it's only like what 40 minutes of gameplay
Yeah.
per game in it. But definitely, like when you go and visit FNAF in VR and you're staring at like the 7 foot tall robot animatronic staring at you,
It changes, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it changes the dynamic.
it reignites that spark that the first game kind of gave to you, that made it horrifying in the first place because it's no longer just a scary image on screen. It's like, ah, that is a 7 foot tall robot that wants to fucking murder me and stuff me in a
Yep.
suit.
Yep.
So it's definitely really hits you hard when you're in first person, and it's a shame that more VR horror games aren't coming out because I think VR is like a very untapped genre, uh, if it wasn't for the fact that VR is just too expensive.
Too expensive, and also you gotta wait until that like. I watched the one video of the guy. I forget his channel name, but he was running around in Skyrim with the treadmill, and I feel like that is the direction you need to go with VR now, especially in a horror game. My God, can you imagine how exhausted you're gonna be playing a horror game in VR?
Oh, I'd love to have a VR Silent Hill.
Oh, it'd be great. It'd be great. There's so much untapped potential in VR right now because our technology is getting better and better. I'm excited to see what they are going to do with VR in the future. It's going to be pretty interesting. Everyone thought it was going to die out. I thought VR was. I felt that VR was here to stay, but I didn't think it would be doing anything until something like this happened. And now that stuff like this is happening, because there was a couple esports leagues based around the Pavlov VR where they actually use the treadmill. So you'd be using the treadmill in the VR set, and you'd be playing Pavlov VR, and it was pretty neat. So I think the first horror game that's going to come out that utilizes the treadmill and the well, I mean, you could do Half-Life Alex. I mean, a good test would be using the treadmill and doing the one level of Half-Life Alex with the big
think it was Jeff, I think.
with Jeff. That would be a fantastic test for how a horror game would possibly work in VR.
Absolutely. The only problem with the treadmill is that you have to walk very slowly on it,
Yep.
and like meticulously. It's like not frictionless. There's very much is a friction because you need those pads to be making the connections for it to
Yep.
register your movement. And slower movement is a lot more difficult with it because the slower you want to go, the more that friction is gonna drag. The more it's gonna be able to create that friction tension.
It's not going to be perfect, but I think in the future we're going to get better iterations of these things. So I think it's good. I think there's a lot of possibility for VR horror. I mean, I know that Boneworks and
I
the
know I
one,
know a lot of people like Cosmodread.
yeah, Cosmodread's really good. Apparently, I mean, I haven't played it. You have a VR headset still, right?
I do.
Oh wait. You have to sign into Facebook for it, though.
Yeah, MetaQuest. You have
Oh
to
my
accept all their things. They can.
god.
It's a
Oh,
pain. The worst part about VR, honestly, okay? The worst
that's
part about
scary.
VR, the scariest part about VR isn't just that it's owned by Facebook, and that you have to sign in to Facebook to use it. It's that it installs the most intrusive, most virus like fucking program that I've ever fucking experienced. And it pisses me off every time I fucking boot up my computer and it defaults to the Oculus virtual drivers. I don't want to use the Oculus virtual drivers. I don't even have my headset plugged in. You shouldn't even be booting when I don't have my headset plugged in. You shouldn't be a fucking program on my computer or a driver on my computer. You should be something that inherently works fundamentally when the headset's plugged in and then snaps off the moment it doesn't detect it. But it fucking stays on because it wants to spy on you and it wants to fucking have every chance it can to swap your fucking microphone on so that it can listen to you. Wants the cameras from the headset on so that it can watch you. It is like the most schizo fucking programming that I've ever fucking seen in a headset, and that is genuinely fucking terrifying. So, if you have the money to, don't do Oculus if you value
Steam?
your privacy.
Do Steam?
Just
Steam
yeah,
VR?
use the HTC
Yeah.
Vive or something
Yeah.
else.
Okay.
Do your research
I mean,
into
they're
it.
probably stealing your information too, but I just go with
True.
Steam. I just go with the Steam VR.
At least Steam isn't gonna like directly lose your information in a giant data breach and then say fuck you after your real ID
Don't
gets
jinx
stolen
it.
by
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it now.
after your ID gets stolen by a third party.
It's yeah. Well, I mean that
Discord.
man. You kind of went off on the tangent there.
I'm sorry. I've been holding that one off for a long time. There you go.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. It's got
I mean,
the truly horrifying part of our everyday existence really is just how intrusive companies have gone. But I don't want to go into that. That is horror adjacent in my opinion, but you know what? Not everyone wants to hear about doom and gloom. And we're not about doom and gloom here. We're about
bunch of positive polys.
no, we're not positive polys. We talk about treachery as well, but it just
Positive nihilism.
oh yeah, well, you know what? Sure, we'll go with that.
Oh yeah.
So
It's all about the optics.
it's always been about the optics. Tell me about it. Oh man. So, well, I think we're at an impasse here. We've done a stream. It hasn't been too long. It's only
Pretty
been about an
solid
hour
one.
and a
Okay.
half. It's only
Is
been about an hour and a
there?
half.
I think a shorter stream is okay. It's Hallows Eve after all.
Yeah.
Keeping everyone here would be a bit too selfish, I think. But
Yes,
is
absolutely.
there any like a last game that you'd like to mention? I have one more I'd like to talk
Okay,
about.
last game off the top of my head that I'd like to mention, and the horror games category is Pokemon ZA.
I think that requires an entire episode to itself.
Yeah, it does require an entire
The
episode. But
Pokemon
Pokemon
fan
ZA,
base.
that is
Oh
the
my gosh.
scariest game of the season. That right there, scariest game of the season. I have never seen
$150 for trash.
The
I
fact
will
they
not mince my
the
words.
fact they only spent $15 million developing that game, and
They
made
made
their
their
money
money
back
back.
on they made their money back on 200,000 copies. That's like
Murder.
no, we don't advocate for that.
As in crows. As in crows. Come on.
But yeah, that is the biggest horror game of the year is Pokemon Legends ZA. The game looks like crap. The only good thing I will say, there's two good things about the game. The animations of the Pokemon are actually desirable. I think they're very good. And the music isn't
Step
bad.
in the right direction.
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction. The music isn't bad. Everything else about that game is awful. It's
We all
terrible.
know those steps
Absolutely.
won't carry over to a new game.
You know, we said that last time with Pokemon Legends Arceus, and none of that happened. None
No,
of that happened.
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I just said. We all know those won't carry over to a new game.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen. They just like I don't know what they're smoking. Like, please, Pokemon Company, Nintendo, whatever you're smoking, give me some because man, that shit's good. You guys are so high on your own farts, it absolutely blows me away. I am happy that you guys lost your lawsuit in Japan. I don't know what's going to happen in America, but I'm happy you lost your lawsuit in Japan against Pal World. Screw you. Genuinely, from
America.
the bottoms of my black heart, the deep cockles of my heart. Fuck you. Honestly.
Yeah, and that's coming from like two people, long time.
I'm a dude. I grew up with Pokemon. That's
Yep.
been my life. Pokemon's been my life, and
Ever
it got
since
so bad I
it
went to
was
Magic.
it was Ruby and Sapphire for you, right?
It was Pokemon Yellow.
God, yeah, that's right.
Pokemon Yellow.
Yep. Yeah, and then it was Diamond and Pearl for me because
Yep.
I got to play the extra copy of Diamond that you bought.
I don't know why I bought it. It was cheap though.
It's
I
because
remember buying it for like
you
$20.
found it. You found it for $5 at the superstore. It was on the sales rack.
Yeah,
I remember that, and it came with it was the one that came with the Dialga stylus as well.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was cool. So, okay, what was the last one you wanted to mention?
Well, the last game I want to give a little shout out to. I won't go too into detail about it. I'm Scared, a Pixelated Nightmare is, in my opinion, my humble opinion, a very, very, very underrated horror gem, indie horror gem. If you want something that will play with you and trailblazed a lot of mechanics that would come to be norms of the meta horror genre, especially with games like Doki Doki Literature Club, where you have to go and manipulate files. I'm Scared, a Pixelated Nightmare is a fantastic horror experience. Very short, the perfect length, and unraveling all of its secrets is a task that I do not want to spoil because it is something that is deeply haunting once you do solve everything.
Yeah, I remember playing that when I was because that came out in 2009, so I was still in school playing that game. My favorite story about it is that I knew it was a virus, so I purposely tried to install it on my friend's computer to try and scare him, to no avail.
It was 2012 was the original version.
Really,
Sorry.
2012. Okay. Well, I mean, I remember trying to install it on his computer to no avail, and yeah, that was fun. That was really fun. Really enjoyed how that game messed with you. So.
Yeah, I miss the innovative kind of era of that early horror. There was a specific sort of should we go there? Zest, yeah, it's definitely a zest is a way to describe it.
Some spicy risks, you know, like we're gonna make our game a virus.
It's not gonna harm your computer. It's just gonna haunt you. You know, sometimes
exactly.
we'll open up to the face of the main horror character, and it'll taunt you until you complete the game and delete him.
Yep, definitely
very very fun.
Go check that out if you haven't. There is a Steam version now that isn't a virus. It's not a virus anymore. perfectly
Should probably
clear.
specify that.
Yeah, well, no, it's not a virus anymore. That's why I'm saying it. So
No. You need to specify that because the last thing I'll say, Steam has developed a problem where specific games are just straight up
Oh,
viruses, and
okay.
they
Well,
will ransack all of your personal
yeah.
info.
So
So
what that is?
do not download games that are not verified.
Yeah.
A lot of scam games out there. If you're ever looking at something and you're thinking, I don't know if this is legit, don't. Just don't. Especially if it's like a free game, even if it's a paid game. If you do not know that it's a verified game, don't.
There's
Play it.
that, but also the way they've been kind of getting around the verification is that they upload a legit game and it gets verified and then they update it. So
Yeah.
there's also that scandal going on right now. So just be careful what you buy. If it's usually one of those games where it kind of promises that you can make money off of it, probably a lie. It is a trick. It's not a treat. Okay, it is. It's bad for you. Don't. It's like the razor and the apple, which obviously we all know people still do here on Halloween.
The razor in the Reese's, you mean?
I've heard apple. I've heard,
Uh,
oh, don't be careful. Those
who's
teenagers
giving
might
out
give. Who's giving out weed on Halloween?
I always love that one. Like, yeah, who's gonna give out weed to a
Yeah.
bunch of kids?
All those teenagers, they're gonna get
Like
get you.
unless like the only way I see that is if a dope dealer was like, "Hey kid, you want some death sticks?"
So,
Get
okay.
them addicted young.
I think that's it. Thanks for tuning in, to any of you tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm sure Cecil really appreciates it.
Yep. I think a proper way to end this then would be to clarify, no dead set timeline on the next stream.
Yeah, no,
Life
it's a
is
bit
definitely a
up in the
bit
air right now.
chaotic, so we'll see.
Jinx.
I think there are occasionally community posts held by Estrantia here, so
yeah,
on the
I'll
YouTube channel.
keep everyone updated.
Tragedy, we couldn't figure out that stream
Yeah, I'll
today.
get that running up and streaming and everything. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in. Happy Halloween, and stay spooky out there. Hopefully these guys will go away by next stream. They're kind of creeping me out. I don't like how that
was
one
this
moves.
like where did you find the contract to this land?
Well, you know what? I think
Better have
let me
not
go
been
talk to
Saddam Hussein's dumpster.